So let's talk about my upcoming workshop, Breaking the Habit of Night Noshing, aka eating at night when you're not hungry. Let's talk about why this is so frustrating, why this is one of the hardest habits to break, and a little bit more about what we're going to go into in the workshop. But first, I have a question for you. How are you doing with your habits? Most of us are pretty savvy at this point. You've read a couple of books or listened to some podcasts, and you know the basics about habits. You know that every habit has a trigger. You know there's a behavior. You know there's a reward, right? The most common one is you go into the office and someone's brought in that pink box, and you know what's in the pink box. There's donuts in there, right? So the pink box is the trigger. You know what's in there. The behavior is eating the donut, and the reward is, oh my goodness, this is delicious. Please give me more. And then there's that loop, right? So that's a habit. So we know that. So applying that to our evening eating issues should be straightforward, right? You just need to figure out what that trigger is. So the trigger might be, or we may think the trigger is 9 o'clock at night, I'm kind of bored. So I'm gonna go and eat some potato chips or grab some chips and bring them out. Or maybe you've finished dinner and you're in the kitchen and you're cleaning, and that's your trigger to pour an extra glass of wine. Or maybe you're watching TV and you're seeing a commercial that comes on. Some of us still have commercials to deal with, right? And maybe you think that's the trigger. And so you're thinking, well, you know, if I don't watch TV, if I just listen to podcasts at night, maybe that will change things for me. All of those things are great ideas, okay? All of those things are really potentially the triggers for your behavior. But are they? Have you tried eliminating those triggers? Because if you have, let's say you've eliminated those triggers, are you still doing the behavior? If you are, that means those aren't the triggers. Here's what's tricky about night eating in particular. The trigger for you to eat again at like 9 o'clock at night could have happened at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It could have happened earlier in the day. This is why it is the toughest habit to break. Let me give you some clear examples of what could have happened earlier in the day that then triggered the evening. And if those things are happening consistently, if they're habitual earlier in the day, you will have a habit of eating at night. For example, do you habitually feel overwhelmed? For whatever reason, it could be something you do. Maybe you set up your day to be overwhelming. A lot of us do that. I've done that. Maybe we are recovering perfectionists. We get overwhelmed, right? There are a lot of things that can cause overwhelm. That can happen at 10 o'clock in the morning. That can set you up. If you're doing that on a daily basis, that will set you up to eat at night. Maybe earlier in the day, you didn't set a boundary. Or maybe you had a boundary that someone kind of ignored and you didn't enforce it. And now here it is, 8:30, and you're wondering why you're fantasizing about cookies, or you're fantasizing about something salty, or you're fantasizing about the cheese to eat. Next thing you know, 9 o'clock, you're eating it. You can't help yourself. You feel like you just threw in the towel. It's not a mystery as to why you choose those foods and why you eat at night when those things are happening earlier in the day. So that's a lot to take in, right? But now you understand why this is a huge topic. And here's why it's important. If you didn't see my other video, let me share with you again why this is so important. When you break a negative habit, particularly this one, but there are others as well, but this one in particular, it changes everything. Changing one habit literally can change your life. It really can, and let me tell you why. If you are habitually eating at night when you're not hungry, first of all, you're probably gaining weight. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes how that feels, right? So if you break that habit, there's a good chance you'll lose some weight. I've lost weight through this process, yay. But that's not really the biggest amazing reason to do this. The reasons are when you eat at night when you're not hungry, it messes with your sleep, right? I don't need to tell you that, you know that. You don't sleep well, you wake up feeling like you didn't sleep, you're groggy, you have that brain fog. It doesn't matter how much coffee you have. You cannot get through that brain fog, and that affects your entire day. It affects the willpower at the end of the day, absolutely it does, to resist the temptation of eating those things again. And if you have issues with setting boundaries or feeling overwhelmed, waking up feeling tired is not going to support you in overcoming those issues, is it? No. The other thing is, when you wake up clear-headed, you actually have more time in the morning because you're not walking around bumping into walls, or it feels like you're bumping into walls. For me, when I used to eat at night, the mornings would just, I feel like I lost time. I don't even know where the time went sometimes. And it was so frustrating, and it was self-defeating, and I was so annoyed with myself, and I felt like I was broken. There was something wrong with me. There wasn't anything wrong with me. No, there were just some things that I had to take care of earlier in the day to set myself up for success. So then at night, when I said, oh yeah, I don't want to eat cookies tonight, I had the energy to say no and to stick to my guns. Okay, if this at all is resonating for you, then please get in touch, okay? The workshop is coming up at the end of the month. If you can't make it to the workshop, get in touch anyway, because you and I can work on this one-on-one. I look forward to hearing from you.